want to let you know you've missed out on a lot. You've missed out on my first steps, my first words, my first day of kindergarten, my last day of high school, my first day of college.
The last time I saw my dad was when I was probably, I don't even remember. It was probably between 6 to 8 years old. I remember he was going to come to my birthday and he never showed up.
I wasn't very close with my dad, and he was, alcoholic. He had anger issues.
Dear Mom and Dad, I know that you are hurting. I'm hurting too. I feel and feed off your tension, fear, and shock. Although I am young and cannot express verbally what is happening in our lives, I am still feeling the impact.
My mom and my dad separated when I was 5 years old, maybe a little bit before then. My dad was very abusive to my mom.
My parents divorced when I was just 6 months old. Never really got to know my dad at all, or know what it was like to have a dad growing up. So my relationship with my father is, I don't have one.
Definitely a separation between me and my mom and me and my dad for that reason of like divorce and just the example they showed. Between them, when I looked at them, all I saw was hate and anger. I was like, that's all, and it really bothered me because they were my parents.
It caused a lot of rejection growing up, and it made me self-reject a lot.
It definitely caused depression, yeah.
It caused me to have to go through psychology and therapy, psychiatry.
With rejection, I did deal with that a lot as a kid. Rejection-wise, mainly, it was mainly too. It was like with with everything that happened as a kid, and with my home life, and with my relationships with my parents, developed a huge insecurity. And through that insecurity, I would feel rejection, but a lot of the rejection I felt was created by my insecurity.
So me not having a relationship with my father and being young didn't affect me because I was so young when my parents split that I never grew up with a father figure, and then him being gone, I just grew up without having one. So for me, it was easy not having one, but the days that it was hard is whenever it was Father's Day, and they always said, write something nice to your dad, and I didn't know what to write. I didn't know what to do for that project, being in 3rd grade and seeing what other people were writing about how their dad was doing great things and how much they played, like the father played with that kid, and just for me, I didn't have that. So that it was definitely absent.
Things I went through in my youth, when I got into believing in God or giving him a chance, I had a lot of questions for him. Like, why would you allow these things to happen to me? Do you hate me? Am I a bad person? How can you say you care about me and you allowed all these things to happen to me? They damaged me, they ruined me.
I think I just want to let him know that I love him and that I forgive him for not being there in my life. And that all the days that You said you would show up, and you didn't. I don't look at you for your past. I love you even if you don't know how to love. And I don't understand how I can love someone unconditionally that can't love me back the way that I want. I guess it's because I have Christ in my life. So the way that I love him, I have to love myself and love others. And I think that's what makes me want to have a relationship with you. So I just want to say that I forgive you and that I'm praying for you.
You want to talk about doubting your worth? Acceptance, a constant search. Look for where the pastor had a red flag and the streets was the church. So crazy how it amazes me that I, as a fallen man, that I could tell God to obey my plan. Not knowing or grasping that all is for his glory, like I was the one who was the author of my story. Yes, I heard Jesus was a man who died for the sins of all, but the fact that we treat it as if he owed us leaves me in awe. Not in a good way, of course, but that good works and faithful to a pew seat on Sunday is salvation's source. You must not get it. I didn't choose God, but he chose me, allowed me to feel neglected and rejection so I could understand the man on the tree. Because there was nothing I could have done to earn grace, and thinking God is at a destination would be an endless race. He's everywhere. The trees grow when the wind blows only because God says so. You catch my drift? The meaning of my words to you is to clue you in that humans have no clue. Hard to understand, I know. No matter how many books and pages you flip or philosophies you grip, you will never reach the throne that the I am sits. You couldn't meet him halfway or finish what he started in your own strength. No matter how far you reach for God, you won't touch because he's not measured in length. So this is the only outcome, that God had to send himself, his sinless son, so his will could be done. And we couldn't have chose him, no, not none, but whoever he chose, because no one is righteous, no, not one. So the reason for the words I have spoken is to inform the listener that we are broken, and that the only hope for reconciliation to the original creator of the original creation is in Christ, the only hope and salvation, Jesus.